with us and Corinne Walker, who are with technology here on campus, and they're going to be talking with us about Google. So with that, Heather and Corinne, I want to let you take it away, and there you have it. Oh, Heather, I can't hear you. I think that your microphone might not be on.
Sorry about that. Technical issues from the technological person. And that's always good. Heather Davis here, business analyst for the Office of Technology, with my wonderful partner Corinne Walker, who's a learning technologist, senior learning technologist in the Office of Technology. Senior in that she understands how all of this works, and I'm just a silly person. So we're here today to talk about Google Apps. I'm going to turn off my video, but keep talking. So we're going to talk specifically first about Google Calendar, trying to figure out where we're supposed to be. Little quote joke from Marilyn Monroe there. Everybody loves her. So what will Google Calendars do for you? It works with your TW Gmail account, which means you can accept and send invitations from Gmail, which is fantastic. You can have multiple calendars, which is good for keeping privacy and working with groups. You can color code events and calendars, share with others, again, the good for the groups. It's accessible on any internet-enabled device. You can receive text reminders of events, which is helpful for those of us who need a little bit of support. There's a task list available, and you can create a public calendar for any organization that you're a part of. To create an event, you'll log on to calendar.google.com. As a reminder, all of the Google apps work much better in the Chrome browser, which is a free browser to download. Once you're there, you'll just hit that big red Create button. And then you have an opportunity to invite others. If you go into the event details, in the add section, you can just start typing any name at TW, first name and then last name, and then click to add guests. And it will give you that guest, which is nice. You don't have to know the person's email necessarily. You'll choose your event time. You can make it a recurring event, so if it's a weekly meeting or a monthly session, you'll hit repeat and enter the details of how you want to schedule that. And then you'll hit the big red save button. It also has the ability that you can see if people have shared their calendars with you, if they're available. Not everyone may have shared, so you can look at that. Save and update. When you're finished with all the details, go ahead and click that big red save button. And then in the pop-up, you can use send to notify the guests by email, or don't send if you want to notify them later, if you want to send them a fancy invitation instead of just a plain email, however you want to do it. After you've added an event, if you realize you need to update it for any reason, you'll just go back to calendar.google.com, click the event, and then click Edit Event to make any changes, such as updating your time, inviting more guests, and you can also see which of your guests have accepted your invitation. And again, when you're done editing, you'll click Save. So responding to invitations, if you receive an invitation in the calendar, click the event, and if you want to see more details, you can. You can type a note and select a response and then save. And you can change that anytime by going to more details and add a note or change your response. And since we're all in Gmail, the great thing is that you can actually RSVP in your email, which is fantastic. So the default notification settings, you can change those. You can go to the gear box in your calendar settings, then click on the Calendars tab, Edit Notifications, and choose how you want to be notified about events. And then the red save to save those changes. So you can modify the notifications. So if you want to add multiple notifications to an event to really remind people that they need to come, to give yourself more time. If you need travel time, so you want a notification early, or you wanted to set some time aside to prepare for a meeting, those kinds of things, then you could always add earlier notifications and additional notifications. To share a calendar, which is good for teams or projects. And again, it protects your privacy, so you have your main calendar, and then you can add additional calendars. And on the screenshot you see here, you just click the arrow next to My Calendars on the right, and then Create New Calendar. And you can share, you can keep or delete, so if it's something you want to delete later after a project's done, you can just delete it. And all of those will show up on your phone, which is great. You can learn more about Google Calendar by going to learn.googleapps.com/products/calendar. It's a really useful source and where we got most of this information. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about Google Hangouts, and we'll have time at the end for questions. So Hangouts is all about making connections. So what's a Hangout? It's messaging, voice, and video calls. You can text chat with up to 100 people if you create a circle in your Google Plus account. You do not need a Google Plus profile to use Google Hangouts, but some of the features such as using apps and video calls, sharing photos, and using circles to control who can reach you and how require a Google Plus profile. So it's up to you if you want to set that up. The Hangouts are limited to 15 active participants, even though up to 100 people could be in a Hangout. They're available across multiple devices and platforms, which is really helpful. They're mobile, which is also really helpful. You've got access to emoji, photos, GIFs, and maps. You can group video chat with up to 15 people, which is fantastic if you're working with people on different campuses or just it's hard to find a time for you all to meet and get together. If you do want voice and video chat, you'll need a webcam and a microphone. And to access Hangouts, you just go to hangouts.google.com. So, starting a Hangout, there's a lot of different ways you can start it. You can start from Gmail, so you'll just open your Gmail. In the bottom left corner of your inbox, you'll click that little quotation sign to open it. If you don't see that, you'll turn on Hangouts, and there are instructions. Just Google how to turn on Hangouts, and that'll start up for you. It's defaulted, which is why I'm not telling you how to do it, because it should be there for all of you. To start a Hangout, if you see the name of the person you're trying to reach, hover over the name, and then you can either click that little text box to send a chat message or the video to start a video call. If the person you're trying to reach isn't on the list, or if you want to contact several people at once, you click the magnifying glass and type the people's names, check the box next to the people you'd like to reach, and then once you've added everyone, you'll click the message button or the video call button. Hangout from Chrome toolbar is also an option. If that's installed on your laptop, PC, or Mac, you can start a Hangout from the Chrome toolbar. And you can get that Hangouts Chrome extension on the web and add that. So that can be easy if this is something you're going to do a lot of the time on your own computer. You might want to install that. And again, you just click that nice little green button that looks like a Hangout conversation. Click the magnifying glass and type people's names. And then when you've added everyone, use the message or the video call to get started. And again, on your desktop, another option, you can actually download the Hangouts app. And same kind of thing to get started there. Scheduling a Hangout. So you can schedule a Hangout in Calendar. So using the calendars, you can go to the event details and add a video call. And you can actually give the video call a name, which is really helpful for people who want to be there. And Hangouts for mobile devices, yet another fantastic feature. There's a Hangouts app, and you can either go to hangouts.google.com or you can go download the app for Android or iOS, which is fantastic. Answering a video call in Gmail, so if someone starts a one-on-one Hangout with you, a chat window will appear, or it will pop up if you have the desktop app, and you just say answer to answer the video call. Pretty easy. To join a call from a calendar, if you've received a calendar invite, you'll go to Calendar, which is calendar.google.com, click the event you want to join, click the link next to video call, and then a Hangouts window will open up and you'll just click that green join button. To find a call from your browser, which is, they really want you to know how to get into these calls, right? Open a tab in your browser and then copy the video call URL that the event organizer provided to you. But if the video call is from someone within the organization, you can also go to hangouts.google.com and enter the video call name. And within the organization means anybody with a twu.edu address. So share your screen, really cool feature in Hangouts. Join or start the video call, and then on the left side of the screen you've got that white arrow coming out of the green screen, and then click share, which is fantastic. Very, very helpful when you're in a chat. Adding people to the call, so if you've got a video call that's in progress and you want to add somebody else, you just click the little person with the plus sign, enter the email addresses, and then you can also, if you have a Google Plus circle, you can open it up to one of those circles. Click invite and they'll receive the invitation. So, getting started with Google Hangouts, again, we highly recommend the Google Learning Center, learn.googleapps.com, this time /products/hangouts. We also encourage you to learn more on your own. So again, that same Hangouts, you can also go to learn.googleapps.com/tips, and they have tons of tips for all of their apps. That's the specific link there for the Hangouts tips. Time for questions. I'll open that up and I'll go ahead and leave you with some training resources. Again, learn.googleapps.com. Learn anything you want. You can do amazing things with Google Apps. lynda.twu.edu/login is where you can create a Lynda account. Lynda is a free resource to you with thousands of courses and short videos that you can learn different software. You can learn soft skills like communication and leadership. It's a wonderful asset that is free to you, and I highly recommend that you get an account and learn about it. And then again, the learn.googleapps.com/tips will give you lots of good tips. So if there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to Jessica.
Great, Heather. Thanks so much. I don't see any questions yet, but I want everyone to know, for those of you who are participating today, that if you can send us your TWU email username, write that in the chat box, which is located right below me here. If you will type that in for us so we can connect with you for us to do our drawing for the free t-shirt, and then we can get you your shirt and all of that. Thank you for those who are attending today. And Carlos Stewart, I love you. You are coming to all of our eLounges. I really appreciate your attendance. Thank you. And my question for you, Heather, is I know that y'all are doing trainings through technology, and you kind of touched base on that, but if someone is interested in going to those, can you tell us just a little bit more on how they can get involved with the trainings that you're doing through your office?
I'm happy to do that. We have a training session tomorrow on Gmail, Drive, and Docs. That's going to be in ASB, the Arts and Sciences building, in room 211 at 2 o'clock. And we'll actually have a free t-shirt for everyone who comes, up to the first 40 people, because that's how many the room holds. And so we really encourage students to come to that. And then beyond that, we have a Students Advisory Committee for Technology. You'll see them on campuses. You'll see them in the eLounge. Yes, Carla, room 211 in ASB. That's right. I'm sorry, I talk really fast. Sorry, I'll slow down. 2 o'clock, yes. Tomorrow, October 14th. Here on the Denton campus. And the Students Advisory Committee, they'll be out and about. They're going to do a big week in November trying to gather feedback from students to find out how do you want to receive training, when do you want to receive training, because we've never really offered a lot of student training, and that's something that we're offering now, that we're able to offer. So we want to know, when should we do it, and where, and how, what do you want to know, all of that good stuff. So you can always feel free to contact me. I'm hdavis1@twu.edu with any suggestions or questions. And be sure to look for the students on the advisory committee out in November. We'll make sure there's a press release in the lasso, and we'll have all kinds of goodies to give away then.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Heather. I'm going to move your slide back to what will calendars do for me. I think that it's just kind of important to hit this as a highlight one more time from some of our individuals who may be looking. I am interested if you will talk just a little bit more on how creating a public calendar for organizations, how that works and how that would be beneficial. I know you've said it once before, but can you just touch just a little bit more on why that would be beneficial for organizations, or maybe even if you're trying to develop like a study group or something along those lines?
Sure, I'm happy to talk about that. This was actually a feature that our Students Advisory Group used the first semester that they were together, before we had the Google Apps access for the entire university. So all of these tools have been around for a while, but what's nice now is that generally they're set up specifically for TWU users to connect with each other. However, you always have the option to expand beyond the TWU community and make the content available worldwide. So what you would do is just go in and create a calendar, and then you have the option to go into the settings and make it a public calendar. And what this is nice for is you can actually embed that calendar into different web content. So if your organization has a website, you can get the embed code for the public calendar in Gmail or in Google, and you can embed that content into your website, so you don't have to retype all of the events and all of those things. It just pops up and it's really nice, and especially if you have a lot of events over the course of a semester, people can go through and click on different months to see what those different events are, and they should be able to add them to their calendar and set up reminders. So it's incredibly helpful as far as productivity and not having to recreate content all of the time, having that web-enabled content that can move in different places.
Thank you. I appreciate you emphasizing that for us, Heather. I am not seeing any other questions on the chat box, but if any of you who are in the room right now, if any of you have questions on Google Calendars or how to get involved on Google Hangouts or anything that we have touched base on so far that you want to know more information on, please feel free to chat or to type in the chat box that is located below my face over here on the left-hand panel of your screen. We are answering them as they come along. I still don't see any though. If I don't have anybody chatting or having any other questions, Heather, are there any like final thoughts that you think would be helpful for students to be aware of before we end today?
Sure. I mean, definitely look at these training resources. And the nice thing about Google is it's all web-based, so you can't really screw it up. You can always go back a step if you're using the docs or the sheets and look at your history and go back and fix things to where they were. It's automatically saving for you, so that saves you time and you have less to worry about. And it may take a little bit of time to find the exact answer that you need or a little bit of time to look at these training resources, but that small investment of time can save you a huge amount of time over the course of your studies, and you can use these tools for the rest of your life. Google has really tried to make things flexible, and they built training content that's fantastic and easy to use. It's, you know, text-based, they have videos, and they're continually adding to their services. So I think that that small investment of time that even each of you has made by being here today, or if you're watching the recording, it's just the start, and you'll see just exponential results from that time.
Okay, Heather, I have one question, and yes. So what are your thoughts on, do you think that if professors will start including Google tools in their course feedback to make it easier?
I will say that some of our faculty were already using Google before, and many more of them are using it now. We are working with them to also develop training through the new faculty, we have the Center for Faculty Excellence, similar to the Pioneers Center for Student Excellence. And so we want to offer training through there to make these tools accessible for faculty. I know a lot of the graduate students are definitely using them. And so I think that you're going to find that more faculty are willing to accept a Google Doc link for your assignment once they realize they can comment back on it and send it back to you, and nobody's using any space in their email box. It's all much easier, no printing, none of that. And so I think that they'll start using it, and some of the faculty have already gotten really creative in the ways that they're using it to make their course content available, and also the assignments that they have in their classes. It's not a required tool, but these are tools that are available to faculty as well. So I hope that they continue to take advantage of the Google training and the training that we offer, and Learning Technology Services offers, to put that information out there. And let them know what you want. Ask them if they'll make it available. Tell them why it's cool, and they'll listen to you, and hopefully they'll do what you ask.
Great. Thank you so much, Heather. And Corinne, you've been a rock star on the chat box. Thanks for helping all of us here. I don't see any other questions, so I think that we are going to round it out. And oh, hang on. Carla is asking, is Google taking over Blackboard as far as a tool for professors instead of Wiki and other Blackboard softwares? Thoughts on that, Heather or Corinne?
I think that some faculty are using Google Links instead of wikis. I think that that's happening. The Blackboard and Google, there used to be what was called a building block to help them talk to each other. That's no longer a supported application. But faculty, because the Google content is entirely web-based, they just need a URL to put that content into Blackboard. And I know a lot of faculty have been working with their learning technologists and their instructional designers to get support to be able to add that. But I think it's the way that we're moving, and I think you'll find that with the online learning systems in general, the content is going to be less centralized, so that everything may be in Blackboard, but it's going to be feeding into Blackboard from a variety of different applications, which allow faculty the agility that they need to provide the best resources to you in your courses.
Okay, thank you. What great questions. I really appreciate all of y'all's interaction. Taylor, I see your question on how we can encourage professors who don't use Blackboard to use Google. I agree with Corinne. It's just opening up the conversation and continuing to express interest as a student that this is how you would enjoy seeing your information. And that is something that you all as students have the ability to do. But the big piece with working with your professors is they don't know what you are looking for as a student if we don't give them feedback and we don't connect with them personally with our communication that we're having while we're in class. It's easy to leave the feedback at the end of the semester, but there are sometimes that we as professors can make changes if we know that that is what our students are wanting. So my last piece, this is my last little pitch for the week. This is Commuter Appreciation Week, and I want all of you to know that we appreciate you as commuters, and we know that as a commuting student as well as being an online student, that there are a lot of additional tasks and levels of difficulty whenever it comes to coming to campus. So I want all of you to know that we want to appreciate you as a commuter this week. And there are a lot of different events that are going to be happening on campus. We're having some commuter breaks tonight. This is part of Commuter Appreciation Week as well as part of our Google month of October. We will have, if you are an on-campus student and you do come here often to Denton, if you're here on Thursday, we're having our big commuter appreciation lunch, which is going to be on the CFO lawn from 11:30 to 1. We will be handing out a ton of food, and there will be a ton of prizes and a ton of people, so we really would love for you guys to come in. I see, Katie, that you got free Starbucks this morning. Yes, we're going to have coffee again tomorrow in the mornings. So please just take advantage of it, because that's what we're doing it for. We're doing it for you as commuting students. We want you to be appreciated and know that we recognize how difficult it is to add that level of stress, especially if you're driving down I-35E in the mornings to your commute. So Tuesday morning, or sorry, today is Tuesday. Wednesday morning we're having commuter coffee stops from 7:30 to 9, and both right outside the ASB commuter lot and outside in that back lot on campus over by the tennis courts. And then we're having our big commuter appreciation lunch from 11:30 to 1 on Thursday, this Thursday, at the CFO lawn on campus. So with all that, I really appreciate all of you coming today, and thank you, Corinne and Heather, for another series on Google. I'm going to end this today, and I hope that